Okay, just a sec. And I think it's recording. Okay. Don Wedding here, and this is 498 Capstone, and this is the winter quarter of 2023, and this is our opening sync session, and also we have guests from 422 who are also sitting in if they want because they get to see what the class is like. Some of you had me for 422, and you sat in after 490 after the 422, and so you can kind of know where they're coming from. Let's see, I guess we'll just sort of go through the class, but without, there's so many people here, we won't go around introducing ourselves. We'll just, we got myself, Don Wedding, I'm your instructor, and we got our TA Logan Strauss is on the call. Logan, say hi to everybody for me.
There we go. Hey, nice to meet everybody. The TA for Don's class here. I do the 422 and the 498. Been doing it for a few years here for Don. Really enjoy getting to meet students and helping them through this class and, getting to learn something. I've been in your guys' shoes a few years ago, so I kind of know, the minutia and how you go through this and some of the challenges you might face. So, always feel free to reach out to me. Don, do you want me to go and give a quick background on myself now or wait a little bit?
We'll do it we'll get to it in a minute. We'll get started because I don't want these poor students on the call any longer than they have to.
Sounds good.
But yeah, Logan, we'll talk about ourselves shortly when we talk about reaching out to Logan for some thoughts. Let's see, I guess I'll share the screen real quick. I'm about to go into the class. Does anybody have any comments, thoughts before we get started? Okay. In that case, I'm going to do a quick screen share here. Okay. So this is our class shell that we're going to have, and we're in 498, and this is going to be the capstone, and everybody who teaches capstone teaches it differently. Okay, so if you took the class capstone with Professor Body, he crawls into the minutia of machine learning. There's another professor, I forget who it is, does a lot of stuff with databases. Somebody else does stuff with, if you're going to be a manager and you just want to do a case studies. So everybody does different things. So what I try to do is run this class like I do on a day-to-day life as a data scientist. It's a group project. You cannot work alone. If you want to work alone, either do a thesis or go into Professor Body's class, because that's for that purpose. This is a real, you're going to have a project. The whole purpose of this project is you're going to find some data, you're going to grab that data, and you're going to figure out ways to extract value from that data, and you're going to present it in a paper and in an oral report, and I'm going to be a CEO, and you're going to say, hey, Don, this is, we got this data, and this data is telling us the following things, and we would recommend the following course of actions. In this class, your goal here is not to get the world's best model. Your goal is to get a model fast, that's useful. A pretty good model that's explainable is going to be more preferable in the real world than an amazing model that takes you forever and nobody knows what the heck's going on. So this is real world stuff. We'll talk about that in the project in a minute. And let's see what else here. If we move down a little bit before we go through, I put some videos together that I recommend you watch before, I'm going to go through a very high level today because if I were to go through this stuff, it'll take like 2 or 3 hours. So instead, I put a video together, and this will take you through the syllabus of the class. This what the requirements are and all that. This will go through the syllabus. This will go through the project. We'll talk about the project very quickly, but I do a video on the project itself. And then I also talk a little bit about the class philosophy. What is this class? Why did I design the class the way that I did? Because some students complain at the end, a lot of students like this class, but other students are saying, well, this, we didn't have any, I didn't learn any new material. Well, that's not the purpose of this class. I'm not teaching you anything. Instead, what we're doing in this class is we're putting it all together. You're going to take a project from beginning to end, and you're going to find value in that data and then make recommendations. So this is what I recommend you watch these videos. Let's walk through, I guess, really quickly, the syllabus itself. And we're not going to crawl too much into the weeds here, but this is my contact information. Please email me. If you email me, please do it at both email addresses, because a lot of the times if I'm on the road or with customers, I don't have access to my Northwestern email. This will go to my cell phone, and I'll try to get back to you as quickly as I can. This is my home number. This is my cell phone number. You can call me anytime. I would prefer you try to keep it in a reasonable hour, but if you need to call me at 3 in the morning on a Sunday, then you can do so. Okay. Please don't, but if you have to, you can. Okay. So if it's important for you, it's important for me. Logan, our TA, also, you can call him. Logan, did you put your contact somewhere on the website here?
Yeah, my personal contact information is in there, I think. It's not on your printed syllabus, but it's in the TA discussion section. Feel free to go ahead and call me, text me, etc. Some days I'm in the office at a hospital. I don't have great reception, so I might not get your phone call or your text until later in the day. So it just depends on where I'm at that day. But go ahead and call me at any hours of the night. Just don't call Dr. Wedding in the middle of the night. He doesn't appreciate that. And he might actually deduct away points from you. But, oh, Don's back. Okay.
Yep, my son was playing the piano upstairs. I had to shut the door. Okay, so yeah, Logan, I'll add your contact to the syllabus going forward. I should have done that. Okay, so if you guys got questions, we would prefer if you post something to the discussion board so we can answer for everybody. But if you need to do a phone call or an email, please do so. Sometimes you need instantaneous responses. Also, Logan has taken this class, and he's been the TA for many, has been the TA for several years now. Everything that you're going through in this class, he has been through, or he's seen hundreds of students go through the same thing. It's worth reaching out to him and get advice, okay? Both of us have been doing this a long time, and we have it from different perspectives, but a lot of students, some students utilize Logan as a resource, some don't, but he's a valuable resource, and it might be worth reaching out to him to just, have him look at your paper or have him give you some suggestions on practical stuff. But he's a resource, and I recommend you use it. Okay, no required textbook, no required software. The only thing we're going to do in this class is we got one project is going to be 85% of your grade. We'll go really quickly through that project, but then we'll have some miscellaneous things like discussion boards and maybe some, ad hoc assignments and what have you. That's 15% of your grade. And there's also opportunities for bonus points in this class. Let's see. In this class, we are going to run this just like a real world scenario. So in the real world, students will collaborate with one another, or employees. So if students, like, for example, if any of you students, like, let's say that there's a cell phone app, and I highly recommend you do a cell phone app for your project. It's a great learning experience, and it's not difficult. But sometimes students try to do it, and they're like, I can't get this working to save my life. And, team one can't get it working, but team two is like, we got this, we know how to do it, and your project looks similar, let's, if you share some of your code and they get it working, let me know. I will give team 2 bonus points for helping, and I'll give team 1 bonus points for being efficient. Okay. It's in the real world, dog eat dog is not the way it is. It's if you can make other people valuable, you will become the boss will love you. So, obviously, there's a common sense. You don't just give somebody your project, but if you give them a lot of code, let me know. I mean, I'll seriously give you reward you for being good corporate citizens. Let's see, other things going on is I'm going to play the part of a CEO in this class. So I'm not going to second guess any of your analytical choices. Okay. So if you want to go, I mean, sometimes I look at students and I'm thinking I wouldn't have done it that way, but I don't care. That wasn't my project. I'm not going to grade you on that. I'm going to grade you on, did you grab that data? Did you find something useful? Did you tell me how to make money with that? Okay. If you can explain this to a CEO who doesn't know about analytics, that's what I'm going for. Let's see, other things. This is the grading scale here. 930 points is your A. Okay. 929 points, I don't round anything. If that's, you can tell what your grade is at any point by how many points you got. And that's about it. Okay, here are our deadlines. Okay. By the end of week 2, so January 15th, you have to have your teams formed. If you don't have your team formed, I'm going to pull names out of a hat. I've only had to do that twice in all the years I've taught here. But most of the time, teams will form. Today is what? Wednesday or Tuesday. You guys probably will have all teams will be formed by Saturday. I would highly recommend getting on a team quickly, because usually the last, when there's going to be 4 teams of 5, and what will happen is team 1, team 2, and team 3 will all pair up, and then all of a sudden the last 5 people join a team, and it's you don't have any chemistry because you don't know anybody. So it's better to get on a team quick. Everybody on the team gets the same grade. Sometimes I get situations where some of the team members are slacking and not doing anything. I know that's a really difficult, but that's the real world. Sometimes that happens. You're going to have to figure out ways to get value from your teammates. Okay. That's part of the learning process. So you get your team formed by week 2. Week 3 is your project proposal. You tell me what you're going to do. By week 6, I want your initial findings. Week 9, on a Tuesday, not a Sunday, but Tuesday, February 28th, that's when your final report is due. And the reason why I have that is because on Tuesday, that gives me a whole, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday to grade these things. And if you totally fumble the football and you got a total bad report, I can get to you quickly and say, this was a disaster. You got to fix it. Okay. So that's why I make you hand it in on Tuesday of that week. That occasionally happens, but not always. The way I run this class is just like the real world is, let's say you give me a project proposal and it's total garbage. Okay. And out of 150 points, I give you 0. And don't think I haven't done that. Okay. I want what I want. You can either redo it and you can get your points, or you can fix the problem over here, in your initial findings. You can always earn the points back. You can earn points up to and including the last minute of this class. Sunday, March 12th, 2023 at 11:59 p.m., you can still get points, okay? But you have to earn those points by giving me quality stuff. I'm easygoing and everything, but I'm not doing you any favors if I let you hand in something that would get you fired. So I've got standards, and I don't, compromise on those because I'm not doing you a favor. So you're going to have, do the work, and you'll get your points. But you can always recuperate them. Let's see. That's the syllabus. I would recommend, before I go into the project schedule, if we scroll way down here at the bottom, I have the Alumni Hall of Fame. And what this is this is from projects from previous students, okay? And if you got a really great project, I invite you to be in the Hall of Fame. Some students say yes, some students say no, because they're thinking about starting a business, whatever. But the students who said yes, here they are. And some of these are great. If you want to earn some quick bonus points, download one of these and see what it is. So let's take a quick look. Here's the Disney Employee Retention Project. Let's download that real fast. And let's see, I think I downloaded it. There we go. So here's our Disney. So this is what a final project would look like. So where is my final project? Final report. So you'll notice, if you've got a cool project like Disney, make this thing enjoyable for a CEO to read, okay? A little clip art goes a long way. Notice the use of the white space, make this thing, don't make this a sterile academic paper. This is a CEO with a short attention span. This will get you, your boss is going to read this and they're going to like this, and you're going to get a promotion. But you can make the thing painfully dull, and it's not going to get read. Also, it's not just clip art that's going to do it. You'll notice these people also have, like, listen, if they're trying to figure out where to, how to stop employee attrition, where these employees are leaving. So they're saying, look, if we can keep these employees, we've got 150% of salaries per departing employee, the replacement cost of getting a new person. They've got dollar amounts here. They can tell us how to make how to make money with this. They've got all sorts of things to do. It wasn't just this. They've got they did cluster analysis on their employees. So this is stuff worth looking at. Now, you don't just have to do this. You also are going to put together an oral report. And I also recommend putting together a dashboard and a mobile app. Now, some students try a mobile app and they can't get it working. That's fine. If you try something like that and it doesn't get, and you can't get it working, you put it in the report and you say, this is what we tried. This is what we got working. This is not what's working. This is what we do next. In other words, put everything in the report and make it easy for the boss to understand. But this is, you can get some bonus points by going through some of these Hall of Fame projects and doing a quick write-up on them and see, this is what success looks like. And then this is where students, if you're falling asleep, wake up, because I'm about to tell you something really important. This is where students lose a lot of points, is on the executive summary, okay? I like to have an executive summary, and I think this is it right here. Let's find out. Nope, that's not it. Help me out, Logan. Where's my executive? Oh, here's my executive summary. Okay, an executive summary is about 5 or 6 pages that summarizes your project, okay? And it's something that the boss can read in about 10 minutes and understand everything about your project. Because your boss isn't going to read the project. He's going to read this. Lower level people will read the whole project, but the boss, the CEO is only going to read this. So you got to, well, if it didn't happen here, it didn't happen. So put work into your executive summary, because this is where the boss is going to actually see it. If you got if you solve world hunger in your main report and you didn't put it in the executive summary, it didn't happen. So this is something worth, put work into your executive summary. Let's see. So that's the employee or the Hall of Fame, the Alumni Hall of Fame. Let's go back up here to the top again. Let me stop. Does anybody have any questions at this point? Have I successfully frightened everyone? Andrew Whalen, talk to me.
Nothing. I don't have any questions so far, Don. This all
Okay.
seems pretty straightforward. I was also in 422, so I remember some of this from a couple of quarters ago when I took that.
Okay. And it's funny, was this last quarter, I did a thing called a debrief where the last day of class, I had the students log in and it was voluntary. I said, what'd you think? And a lot of students said, I was terrified on the first day of class. And I was like, I suspected that, but I didn't know it. And they said, and then because I just kept pushing them and saying, you guys can do this, and I expect this kind of quality, at the end of the quarter, they were like, they couldn't believe what they had produced. And they were amazed and they were happy. And they said it wasn't as bad as they thought, but they were terrified on first day. The last day, they were delighted with what they did, and they were really excited, and they knew they could, get out of in the real world. That's what I really wanted to hear. So I know that this is concerning right now, and this is a lot of work, but you're going to be glad you did it. Let's see. D. Noel, do you have any comments for me? I'm calling people out to see who's got questions. So
no, I'm just taking it all in, kind of thinking about the team that we got
okay.
built. So that's where I am.
Your single biggest factor of success in this class is the team. Okay. Get a variety of skills. A lot of times people say, well, I got 5 people on this team that can build models. They're all Python experts, and it's going to be a disaster, I assure you, because you got 5 Python coders and none of them can write a sentence that doesn't put me to sleep. You want to have somebody, there are a variety of skill sets in this class. There's going to be people in this class that can write code, people who know databases. Project managers are worth their weight in gold. Somebody who can sit there and crack the whip and say, you had a deliverable and where is it? Somebody who's organized like that, somebody who can write, somebody who can, and some people have multiple skills. Some people who can say, look, I have never done, and believe me, this class has 20 students in it, and not one of you has ever done a mobile app. Okay. Guess what? There's going to be somebody in there in this class that says, I want to figure that out. And believe me, it's not rocket science. Okay. You're going to raise your hand and volunteer, because it's not required to do a mobile app or a dashboard. But you know what? I don't think I can't think of a single time that a team didn't get a mobile app working, that they didn't get an A. So that tells you how much bonus points are sitting there waiting for you. Throw somebody at that project and see what you can get. Even if you get it partially working, that's great. So those are the kind of things. Find a variety of skill sets. And the other thing you want to do is a variety of skill sets, and make sure that everybody participates, because there's going to be a couple of slackers in the class who don't want to do anything. And there's nothing I can do. I mean, it will be, it catches up with you. If you don't want to work, you get called. Eventually, you're out there in the corporate world and it catches up with you. This is the time to learn stuff, to know what you can do and what you can't do. And if somebody is slacking, they'll do it in the real world. You're going to have to pick it up and do their stuff. Somebody has a question. Who's that?
Hi, my name's Erin.
Hi, Aaron.
So on the topic of teams, I just wanted to make sure, are we doing 4 teams of 5 or can we do 5 teams of 4? Does it matter? I'm just trying
Nope,
to get a gauge for how many people.
It's 4 teams of 5.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, because what's going to happen is I've had situations where people drop and everything else, and all of a sudden I got a team of 3, and then that's bad. So I think you could get by with a team of 4, but 3 starts getting challenging. So instead I'm over padding it, but 5's a good number I've discovered. Let's see, let's take a look at the project real fast. Let's see, the project is as follows. And then we're gonna introduce you to Logan shortly. He can get his takeaway on some stuff. The project is gonna be this. You got 100 points when you hand in your project goals. And believe me, take a look at some of the Alumni Hall of Fame on what that should look like, okay? I tell you what it looks like in here. Let's see, like project goals. I'm sorry. That's down here. I tell you what it's supposed to look like here. But if you want to see an example, go look at the Alumni Hall of Fame. That's really a good example of that. And students will hand in stuff, and I'm not kidding, and this is going to scare you, and it should. I've given students 0. And when you stare at a 0 and it's week 3, that's pretty scary. Now you can get those points back, but that's not good because that says to me you've just burned 3 weeks of daylight here, and that's hard to catch up. The only thing worse than getting a 0 on week 3 is getting a 0 on week 6. Okay, that's really concerning. You don't want that. Make sure that you keep up with the work, and if you start having problems with your team, you know, I don't want to find out about it on week 6. You should be contacting me, or if you don't want to contact me, this is where Logan's going to come in here. Logan's a TA, and he's been through this. He was in this class, and he had a team, and you know, he can give you advice, and reach out to Logan. So Logan, say hi to everybody and give them your background in the class. I mean,
Yeah, just give me 1 second here, Don. Yeah, so the biggest piece of advice I can give to folks here is that, to make sure you find a group that is, has complementary skill sets. You don't want to have too many redundancies and things like that. You want people to be able to fill in the different, aspects that you might not have. For example, somebody that's a good programmer that might be able to write up the script, somebody that's really good at data visualization, somebody that has very good project management skills. Make sure you guys find somebody like that has that skill set, because that is crucial in order to kind of put together the final deliverables and make sure that everybody stays on track with the project, and you're not at week 7, 8, 9 and like, hey Logan, hey Don, we don't have anything put together yet, and in a panic. So the key is to stay organized, and hopefully by having a good project manager, you're able to do that. I guess I would say too, just be mindful of everybody that's on your team. Make sure everybody carries their own weight. That's very important. You don't want to be that one person on your team that's holding everybody else up, because everybody's reliant on each other. Don, I apologize if I missed it, if you said it earlier, but everybody's grade on that team is going to be the same. So you guys all have to work together to go ahead and be successful. If one person does all the work, that's not going to be fair, and it's not going to turn out well. So we don't usually have that happen at all. It's a very, very rare circumstance. Usually everybody here, always carries their own weight, and they work together, and we don't have those type of isures. So
you're right. It is rare, but it does happen. So the reason why I'm stressing this now is because it happened recently, and now it's fresh in my mind.
I would say also too, Don, while I'm thinking about it, find your group early. Don't, wait, for a while to build that, and don't stress out too much when it comes to building the mobile app. You do need to build one for this class because it is a very beneficial part of your portfolio. But with that being said, that mobile app can take different, forms. It could be, something you publish on the Google Play Store or the Apple App Store, or it could even be a Tableau mobile app, which is something that, my group did a few years ago when we published our loan prediction model. We went ahead and built a Tableau app for both the desktop and also for a mobile application. And that serves the same purpose of the class as well, to give something deliverable and accessible to everybody to see.
Yeah, and that's
Um,
and along those same lines is some students, they can't even get it working, and they say, well, we didn't have it working, but here's some mock-up screens of what it would look like and what we envision. Sure, obviously that's not as good as having it working, but you know what? In the real world, not all, you cast a wide net and not all of the things are successful, but you find value in everything. So,
Yep.
So anyways, so your project goals, you hand that in, then you get your your initial findings in your executive summary. The only reason why I make you do this is because if anything is being derailed, and you're not getting progress, this is the time to find out. If you hand in something and it's just a disaster, that's when I, give you a bad grade, and then I call you up, and then we all try to have a meeting of the minds, and we all try to figure out what's going on here. But it's easy. I've had people be a disaster and still, in fact, there was a team in the Hall of Fame that got absolutely torn apart, and they got their act together and they ended up in the Hall of Fame. So you can make it up, but this is the time to do it. So that's why I have it when I do. So again, I have a video that walks through the project step by step. I'm not going to go through the whole thing right now because it'll take us forever, but this is the step by step on everything in this project. One thing people say is, what do we do for a project? Now, what I would recommend is there's really two types of projects. One project that students have is they go out to Kaggle and they get a data set there. Okay, so if you went out to a Kaggle or some other publicly available data set, you get that data set and you say, okay, we've got a bunch of loan data here from Portugal, and we're going to try to pretend like we're a Portuguese bank. And the first thing I'm going to say is, okay, fine, you're going to try to figure out loan default, but then I want more than that. I mean, this isn't just building a loan default. This is, why don't you also do some segmentation on those customers? What about trying to, in other words, bring in some other data, economic data, whatever, try to, expand the universe a bit and do more than just the bare minimum. Don't just say, I've got a data set with loans. I want to see some segmentation. There might be other variables that you can work with and maybe say, we're also going to do, loss given default or whatever. You could try a lot of different things. Give me lots of value for the data set. Another thing that you can have is you can have real world data. Okay. You might have data from, let's say, I had a customer had a series of dry cleaning establishments, and they wanted to look at customers and stuff. That's fine. If you've got real world data, that's great. And you can do that, but I'm not allowed to sign a non-disclosure agreement. So if you use it, you got to get permission from your boss. And if your boss says, look, I need the data to be, anonymized. Okay, that's fine. We can do that, but whatever you present to me, know that it might get out to the real world. So you have to make sure your boss is okay with that. But you can do real world data, and those are the best types of projects. So real world, or you could do Kaggle or something else. So there's lots of different things. But if it's a Kaggle project, I want more than just so who's going to default on a loan and give me a good model. This is not that class. This class is more than that. Okay, here's who's doing a default, and this is how we make money with it. That's what we're going with. Let's see. We've got a couple of discussion boards. I got here the student contacts. If you want to reach out to your fellow students, here's everybody currently in the class. If you don't see your name there, let me know or add it. This is Ask the Prof. If you want to ask me any questions about what I think might be a good way to go, post them here. This is Ask Questions of the CEO. This is Ask Questions to Logan, TA Communications. Mobile App Clearinghouse. If anybody finds, again, mobile apps are not required, but I'm going to twist your arm and cajole you until you do it. But you don't have to. I've had some students say, just there's no place in our project. We don't want to do it. Fine, I'll respect that. But I'm going to try to force you to do it because it's a great learning experience. But if you find some great resources, post it here for others. If
Yeah,
you,
and
oh, go
Don,
ahead.
I'm just, yeah, sorry, I'm
No,
following.
go
what
ahead,
he's
go
doing
ahead, go
here.
ahead.
That's fine. Students are just direct messaging me, so that's fine. You guys can go ahead and message me or the group in general. But again, I want to clear up because some folks have been asking about the mobile app to me personally here. And Don, correct me if I'm wrong here. Really, we're just looking for, the students to make a solid effort to deliver something that looks like a mobile app. And if it doesn't even work, you can even prototype it, even do it in, some other type of format or show that you've made it this far with the programming aspects of it. It's just really, we want to see something that's, that shows you put a lot of time and effort into it, right, Don?
Yeah, let me tell you the backstory of the mobile app. The mobile app was, this project never had a mobile app. And so then one quarter, a student was really, one team, they ended up putting a mobile app together and they were like doing their oral presentation. They said, oh, by the way, Don, go out to Google, the Google App Store and type in this, blah, blah, blah. And I go, and they said, now push this. And they installed an app on my phone. And I was just knocked out of my chair. I was like, oh my gosh, this is a mobile app. And they were like, yeah. And it was amazing. So of course I gave them like a really high grade. They ended up getting out of 300 points. I gave them like 400. I was like, I couldn't believe this. It was like magic. And so they ended up in the Hall of Fame. And so then the next quarter, I mentioned that in passing. Okay. I said, yeah, this one team did this and all 5 teams did a mobile app. And I was like, holy cow. And they all were like, so then I mentioned it again the next quarter and everybody did a mobile app. And I started going, apparently this isn't as hard as I thought it was. And so I started, doing some research on this. And then also I started, saying to students, look, all these teams started figuring this out. It's not hard. And then students started coming back to me and saying, Don, I went into a job interview and I showed them the mobile app and they hired me, So I'm like, oh, so this thing is really worth having. This is not required. It is not, I'm going to pressure you to do it because it's good for you. But if you don't do it, you don't do it. Okay. It's not going to cost you. I've had countless teams opt out. So don't panic on it. I'm just telling you, you will wish you had done it if you didn't do it because it's such a good thing for you. Does that make sense? I'm hearing silence here, Logan. Are they texting you saying, yeah, we get it? Or are they texting you saying we're terrified?
All good there. We got some thanks for it. So Don, thank you for addressing that there.
Okay, that's the backstory.
Yep, and we got some thumbs up there too. So
okay,
good
great.
Job.
Let's see. Other things. Now, one more thing, because we're at 9:41 here. The other thing is, and then we're going to talk about Logan's TED Talk in a minute, but the other thing is I just go through the class shell. So this is the general stuff here. Then if you go down here, I've got some recordings of, again, from me, some previous sync sessions. Also, occasionally we have guest speakers or, Logan runs a thing called show and tell every quarter and students can earn valuable bingo bonus points by, doing a 5-minute TED Talk on some topic. And we record these and there's some fascinating stuff about this. And Logan does this around week 4 or 5. Like, I don't know, they had, this was last fall. This was the time before that. They had, one of them was really cool. Where was the one that you did with the faces?
Oh, yeah, somebody did one on surveillance
Yeah, here it is.
technologies. Yeah,
This was
that's
how,
really
you know,
cool.
this was how to, you know, how you walk down the street and the cameras say, oh, that's Logan walking down the street. They have ways of, you know, tricking the surveillance cameras. Just, there's all sorts of cool stuff. So the videos are there, so you can watch these videos. So I'm saying that whenever you're bored, log on and watch some of these things. They're fascinating topics. So we have guest speakers. Let's see, what else do we have? Guest speakers and, you know, things of that nature. Let's see, other stuff. Weekly discussion boards. These, I try to make these fun because nobody likes them. Okay, so I'm making them fun. I'm having fun projects. Like this first one is trust but verify. And I'm going out there and I'm saying, look, go out there and try to do, you know, this, there's like web pages that will generate random papers, you know, do this and, you know, and then talk about it. It's kind of fun and useful stuff, and the students seem to enjoy it. I have to do a discussion board, so I'm trying to make them worthwhile. Put some effort into them and you get your points. The only question is week 3, week 5, and week 7. I would like a status report on your project. Every person must do their own status report. People are like, Don, can Joe do it for the whole team? No, Joe does it for Joe. Mary does it for Mary. Fred does it for Fred. Everybody does their own. And the purpose of this, there's 2 purposes. One is I want to know if there's disaster looming. And the other thing that I want to know is this. The thing that took me 10 years to learn in my real life job was these status reports are like so valuable, it's unreal. And I was blowing them off for a decade or more. Unfortunately, because I was like, well, my work speaks for itself. I don't have to do this. I hate this. Well, guess what? At the end of the year, the boss would pick up my status reports and said, yeah, I don't know what the hell Don did all year round, because I don't know the difference between Don and Joe. I don't even know who's who, but Joe has this big giant, you know, paper on how he sorted the paperclip drawer. And Don has 1 sentence, solved world hunger. Well, Don didn't do anything and Joe did all this work on paper clips. So Joe's going to get the promotion. It took me years to realize that these status reports are important. So think about that. I want you to give me a real status report. So put work into those. Also, I have some words of wisdom I post out there for fun, and they're kind of useful. They're things I've learned over my career. Take them or discard them, but I try to at least, you know, give you some thoughts on value add here. Message in a bottle. This is messages from former students. Logan's is in here if you want to find that one. These are
Oh, boy,
former
Don.
students. Yours, it's still in there, Logan. But these are messages to you from former students, and they give you advice on the class. They're worth reading, and you get the end of the quarter, you get to write advice to former students. Interesting articles. Anytime somebody sends me an interesting article, I post it here. Again, a lot of this stuff is for students when you're bored and you got nothing better to do. Go on the website and kind of poke around. There's some cool stuff here. Tutorials. Students, if you put a tutorial together, like some student put it like how to do polar charts for k-means clusters. I thought that was they put it in their paper. I said, that's great. Future students might be able to use this in their reports. So they let me put it out there. So some of this stuff you can use in your report that's worth having. And then at one time in the quarter, we have an all hands on deck project. And if you're falling asleep, wake up, because I'm about to show you something life-changing. I have this all hands on deck paper, and I make you do it at the worst possible time. And it's still downloading. Well, heck, let's just go here. All hands on, there it is. So I have students write these white papers, and you'll have to do this. And so some of this stuff is really useful. So for example, some student might have, done a report on Alteryx. And so this is 2 students, one in 2021 and one in 2019 did something on Alteryx, okay? And you're like, so what? Well, you know what? If you download all these white papers and then you go out, you start your job and your boss says, what does anybody know about Alteryx? And people all stare at him blankly. You go running to your desk and pull out your all hands on deck paper and you read these little white papers, and within, 10 minutes, you're an expert on Alteryx. You can become very valuable. So this has got lots of different topics. I would recommend, if nothing else, on the way out the door, download these papers. They're worth having. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Let's see. And, there we go. So let's see, is there anything else in the class? You guys are probably getting seasick watching this thing scroll. It scrolls on me randomly. So if it's, okay, Alumni Hall of Fame. Free analytics software. Anytime somebody finds a way to get free software, let me know and I'll post it here for the students. So anyways, this is kind of a quick overview of the class itself. When you guys form a team, email me quickly and I'll send out, I'll say, here's who's formed a team and who hasn't, I'll keep you posted. So, form the team quickly and let me know. And then I'll send out messages to everybody so you know who's available and who isn't. But I would recommend forming teams quickly. That's kind of everything right now. Does anybody have any questions, comments, thoughts, anything? Nothing.
I have one question.
Okay, Sarah, what's your question?
Yeah, I might have missed this, but when we have formed a team, how do we submit that?
When you are, just send me an email as
Okay.
soon as you say we have a team. And even if you don't have all 5 people, if you've got like 3 people, let me know and I'll say, okay, Sarah and Bob and Joe are all on a team. They still need 2 more people. Just send me an email and I'll start, marking things down.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Let's see. Matt Reigsecker, talk to me, Matt. Do you have a question?
No, I don't have any questions. I'm just observing I'm in your 422
Oh,
class.
you're in my 422 class. I did not recognize the name. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Matt.
I missed it because of work, but I wanted to see this.
Okay. Then I'm gonna bother Carlin Gerstenberger.
You nailed it. It's all phonetic. Don, no questions on my side. I don't think. You'll see an email from me shortly with our team list. I think we got 5. So looking forward to it.
Okay. Let's see. What about you, Lupe Rodriguez?
Same thing as just Carlin said, no questions. Just finished forming our team. So yeah, you'll hear from us very soon.
Oh, really? You got a team going, huh?
Yeah.
No, I was going to say, I thought, are you the student who's also a doctor? But I think that's Mona. Is that Mona Asha or is that you?
No, I think that's
That's Mona?
Yes, that's me.
Mona's an MD, everybody. Is that true, Mona? You're an MD, right?
Correct, yes.
So if are you doing a medical project or are you going to do something else?
That's a really great question. I mean, a healthcare project is probably something that I could provide a lot of expertise on, but it would also be really nice to do something completely unrelated to healthcare. So
Oh, okay.
I'm still thinking about it.
So anyway, any other questions, comments, anyone? I flew through this. There's a lot of stuff to do for this class. I mean, to go over the overview of it. That's why I put those videos together. I really highly recommend you sort of watch the overview of the project and the syllabus.
No, Mark, thanks for joining the class here as well. Mark is also faculty and employed by Northwestern here as well. Mr. Schumacher here.
Oh, Mark, are you an instructor as well?
Well, we're working on a class for spring and fall product prototyping.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Kind of relevant to that app discussion.
Well, there you go. I'm sorry I didn't know you were there. I would have introduced you. Logan, can you give everybody a 5-minute or less on the TED Talk, the show and tell TED Talk?
Yeah, so to give kind of a little rundown of what this is, it's a fun event that, Don and myself hold about every 4 to 5 weeks into each quarter. It's an opportunity to pad your grade, opportunity to kind of relieve a little bit of that stress in terms of, what letter grade you're going to end up getting for the class. It's enough to bump you up a letter grade potentially, or, an A- to an A, or a B+ to an A-. So all I ask you to do is to put together a 5-minute presentation on some topic of your choice. It can be something that you're doing in your professional life. It can be something you're interested in researching. It can be something you read about. You can read about, you read about surveillance capitalism, or you read about, the t-shirt deal. Like, I got a Northwestern t-shirt here, but, there might be a t-shirt that you can put different faces on that computer vision models don't, recognize who you are. For example, if somebody's trying to look through video data and try to identify you, somebody did a project on that. You can go ahead and don't spend anything more than 30 minutes on it, honestly, unless you want to. We've had people talk about different programming languages, from Rust to Go to, Python or R or even SAS. Don here is the king of SAS. So he always appreciate those as well, but put together a 30-minute presentation on something that you're interested in academically or professionally, and we'll give you some bonus points for it. I will send out a sign-up sheet for that. I ask that you go ahead and you sign up, for what slot you want, because it does get kind of crowded, especially with these larger classes. And we do want to get to everybody. And even if you don't end up, presenting something or having time to put together, a presentation, I still encourage you to attend, because it's, again, we have some nice conversations and we get to, meet the other students. We give, some time to ask questions to students about their projects and professional interests, and the networking value is very high. So I look forward to doing that again this quarter. And Don, is there anything else that I'm missing by chance?
No, that's pretty much it. I feel like I gave the TED Talk, I didn't give it its due, so I wanted to make sure that I mentioned it.
Yeah, and Don and myself are both Eastern time, so you can, call us or text us or whatever, but we try to get back, or at least I try. I know Don gets back a little bit quicker than me sometimes, but I try to get back to you. If you message me in the morning, I'll try to get to you by that afternoon, and vice versa.
Well, if we have any final questions, if not, we'll call it a night here. I'll try to give you guys back your last 4 minutes of your life.
I think they're tired, Don.
I know they are.
Long holiday here. Yes, that's what we're getting, some thumbs up.
So, well, I got something from yeah, just send me emails when you guys have a team. Just send an email and I'll start updating that. I'll probably start getting stuff tonight, it sounds like.
Okay, take care, everyone.
Okay, be good, guys.
Have a nice
right,
night.
thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
Good night.
Have a nice night.
Thanks all.
Here, I'll give you a call in a second, Logan.
Okay, talk to you guys later. Bye.